Hello viewers, welcome back once again to another session on integration class. So in our previous lesson, we learned about integration. We also talk about the issue about definite integral, indefinite integral, and we support all these approach with an example. So in today's video, we are going to actually learn how to integrate by substitution, both definite and indefinite integral. Okay, so when it comes to integration by substitution, you see there are times where the format upon which you should integrate, the form upon which you should integrate, at times there may be a situation where it wouldn't be straightforward for you to integrate. So where we have a situation where it is not straightforward for you to integrate a particular function, then you go by what substitute. For example, if I have a function like this, let's say x square root of x squared plus 1. Realize that this kind of function will become very difficult for you to integrate using the normal approach. So unless you go by what? Making some changes and then seal the form. Okay. So if that is the case, then that is what we are talking about here. So in a case where it becomes very difficult for you to actually integrate straightforward, you go by what? Substitution. Okay. So that's what we're going to do today. So we begin with what? Indefinite integral by substitution. So let's take an example here. Let's say I have this function. I have 5x square root of x squared minus 2 dx. If I'm asked to integrate this function, because I can't integrate this straight away, I need to go by what? Substitutional what? Approach. So what that the substitutional approach actually says, all that you want to do here is to represent the expression in the square root by what? A variable. So I can say that so I'm asked to integrate this function, okay? I can say that let u be equal to x squared minus what? 2. Let u be equal to x squared minus 2. So by that way, I need to differentiate what? U with respect to what? X. So that becomes what? The u over the x, and that should give me what? 2x. That should give me 2x. That should give me 2x. So once you get a 2x, because this is more of integration by substitution, this is what we will do. We'll make what? Dx the subject. Now I'll tell you the reason why we are making dx the subject. So in making dx the subject, that becomes the x, that should be equal to, remember here is out of 1, so this multiply, this also multiply, right? So by so doing, that becomes what? Du over what? 2x. Du over 2x. So once you get this, that is fine. We keep it there. And then let's go back to the function. So you realize that we have our integrals and we haven't still integrate. We are still in the process. So we have here to be what? 5x. And we say let u be equal to x squared minus 2. That is going to have me square root of what? U. Right? Remember, we have u, we have x here. That is why we actually make the x the subject. So by that way, let's see. So in place of what dx, we substitute what? Du over what? 2x. So that becomes what? Du over what? 2x. Okay? So what are we saying here? Realize that the x can cancel this x here. Okay? So by that way, I can bring it at the top here by saying that we're going to have our integral symbol, which is going to give us, so the x will cancel that. So therefore, we are having what? 5 over 2. Okay? With our square root of u du. All right? So we can bring the 5 over 2 out by saying here becomes what? 5 over 2 when my integral sign. Remember, this is an indefinite integral. So you have root of what? 2 du. Because we wanted to convert everything from x to what? U. That's why we make what? Du here, there. That's why we make the x here what? The sub, so that we can cancel off the x. That will be attached to what? The 5x. So in this case, now we can what? Integrate this function. Because we are integrating with respect to what? U. So let's see how we integrate this. So in integrating this, that becomes what? 5 over 2. Okay? 5 over 2. So here it becomes what? u to the power of what? 1 over 2. Remember, square root is the same thing as what? Half. So if I want to integrate, I'll add 1 to this, okay? And remember, 1 plus half will fetch me what? 3 out of 4. So I'll divide both sides by what? 3 out of 2. Sorry, I'll divide u by what? 3 out of 2. So because this is an indefinite integral, I will introduce my constant plus say k. Okay? So we realize that at this point we are having what? 5 out of 2. Then here, when I divide u to the power of what? 3 over 2, all over 3 over 2, I'll be getting what? Into bracket 2 out of 3, u to the power of what? 3 out of 2. Okay? Plus what? K. We are not done, so we can multiply that of what? 5 over 2 and then 2 out of what? 3. So the 2 out of 3 will cancel that, right? So we are left with what? 5 out of 3. Okay? And remember, here becomes what? U. Here becomes U 3 over 2 plus what? K. But remember, we know that U is equal to what? S squared minus 2. So what I will do, just substitute what? S squared minus 2 becomes 5 over 3. So we have S squared minus 2 to the power of 3 over 2 plus what? K. And then you are done. So this is how we actually integrate indefinite function through what? Substitution. So thank you for watching.